Lagos, Nigeria. Through the years, it has transformed from a small fishing and trading community along the lagoon to a flourishing mega city. And it is further evolving into a smart city. The capital city of Nigeria from 1960 to 1991, Lagos is still commercial capital of Nigeria and sub-Saharan Africa. Years of robust growth have brought rapid urbanization and the attendant challenge of urban development.
I remember when we were young, in the days of City Hall, in the days where we used to have wole. In the past, people with their hard-earned money, they make sure they do the right thing. And for every developer, for every artisan that we have, they knew what they were doing. They don't cut corners. And every materials that we use are original materials.
In recent years, however, builders have become reckless. In some cases, building at odd hours in order to circumvent the building laws, forgetting that structures they build are for human habitation. This recklessness has resulted in many cases of building collapse, leading to not just loss of properties, but also loss of lives.
Every construction in this state, or that is put in Lagos State, we house a human being, and that is human life. Life should be very, very important to us. You will see some people making blocks. They will carry sand from the gutter and mix it with cement. And we have so many types of cement in Nigeria today that are not even supposed to enter this country. People are so much in a hurry. They want to start a building today and finish tomorrow. It's never done. It takes stages.
The Lagos State Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development has therefore stepped up its game in order to stop the occurrences of building collapse in the state.
The guiding force behind the MPPUD is that before you implement any policies, legislations are essential elements for you to be able to implement policies. In our area, which is largely regulatory, we would need laws, we would need provisions, we would need regulations to help us guide standards of orderly development in building control. The ministry is to regulate kind of the built environment. The built environment will deal with all of these physical developments. The ministry will be looking at a livable environment, a sustainable environment, an environment that is not full of haphazard developments and slums, and to make it livable, to make it kind of friendly for business, for tourists coming into Lagos State. His Excellency Governor Akinwumi Ambode has declared zero tolerance to illegal developments in the state, and in doing so is not talking from both sides of his mouth. He knows that to do so, we need institutions. The institutions that are needed are his agencies, are within his agencies. And he has approved that we restructure those agencies. He also approved the recruitment of more professionals for the monitoring of developments within the state.
The ministry has taken the initiative to further sensitize Lagosians on the need to build right, because lives are at stake. It has also made the process of getting approvals simple and accessible online.
EPP is actually known as an electronic planning permit system. The potential applicant is expected to upload their plans, their drawings, architectural drawings, structural drawings, mechanical and electrical drawings, for the purpose of processing to get a grant of permit. You are at liberty to actually log on to lagosepp.com.ng, upon which you have a portal whereby you can also make payments. The first thing I expect anybody in Lagos State to build is that, first of all, you have to procure a land. get a land, for say, acquire a land, make survey of that land, get a proper land with a title that's acceptable to the state government, after which you also gathered your own professionals that are going to work on your own intention. And please make sure that whatever you are doing, you have to liaise with the Lagos State Ministry for a planning information or any of our district offices as to what is the status of that land. Is it the land meant for residential? Is it land meant for commercial or any other use? Having done that, apply online through our portal system, which is lagosepp.com.ng, and if you are successful, a planning permit will be issued to you. After that, you approach the Lagos State Building Control Agency, informing them of your readiness to start construction. And
what we do basically in the building, in that agency, has to do with ensuring that ongoing developments and existing buildings are not susceptible to failure, by ensuring that everybody follows the laid down procedures and principles that are legally based and stand the good side of the law. We are more like enforcers, ensuring that people follow the law that has been laid out. Get your building plan approval from LASPA, go for your material testing at MTL or any other laboratory. We go out on the street to ensure that these are done. And additionally, we ensure the state certification of all projects. We come to your site to monitor you. So we have interaction with the people on a daily basis. State certification is actually a very important, part of our function as it affects, our intervention with the public. At every critical stage of your development, somebody or some people or a team from LAPCA needs to periodically come to your site to check the quality of what you're doing. We ensure that you're building right, you're complying to what you have been approved to do. We need to stay with you all through to ensure that you are complying. We've had instances where people would have approval for a small property, but when they get to the site, they're designing something very huge. And that is some level of illegality, because you are expected to stay to what you have sought approval for.
Another agency known as the Lagos State Material Testing will also be invited. And what do? They look at the materials that you are using. You want to test the integrity of these materials to be sure that you are within the ambit of law and you are using the proper materials to build.
The danger of using the quacks and poor building materials is what we are seeing. Collapse of building, some building going under a fire outbreak for simple spark because they are using substandard electrical materials, they are using some standard reinforcement. The work of LSMTL is germane and apt at this particular time because one collapse building is one too many when it comes to loss of lives and property. Therefore, the job of making sure that the materials we are using in building to curb the incessant collapse of buildings becomes very, very important. Our interest is to go out to educate people to see the importance of the good materials, the importance of using the right personnel, professionals, so that the issue of collapse of building will be put to check completely in Lagos State.
When you build, be sure to build by the rules because the lives of Lagosians matter. Please follow the building rules to the letter. Be a responsible resident of Lagos State. Always follow the planning and building control procedures. You would be contravening the law when 1. A development that requires planning permission is undertaken without the permission being granted, either because the planning application was refused or was never applied for. 2. A development that has been given permission subject to conditions breaks one or more of these conditions. 3. Failure to obtain certificate of fitness for habitation. And 4. A developer carries out a building project without following the various tests, set processes, and stage certification. In any of these cases, an enforcement notice may direct the developer or owner to alter, discontinue, or remove a development. A person who fails to comply with the terms of the enforcement notice issued may be prosecuted in a magistrate's court. The offender on conviction may be liable to a fine as specified or forfeiture of property.
For every human being to live in Lagos, first of all, you must pay your tax. That is your social responsibility. The tax that you pay will make me to do the master plan of whole Lagos State. That master plan tells you for every inch of land in Lagos is planned for. If it is a residential building, for every apartment, for every flat, you must provide a minimum of 2 car parking spaces for one apartment. Make sure you engage a qualified professional. It's only because our people are trying to cut corners and it doesn't cost much.
The responsibility of the client, the owner of the site, is to ensure that the builder being engaged for such a service is qualified. The Building Collapse Prevention Grid assists the government to identify the ongoing building construction site in each cell in Lagos State. It helps the government to take appropriate data towards monitoring.
Building by the rules is not negotiable, not just because lives are at stake, but because the environment is at stake too.
With regards to the poor building practices in Lagos State, the effect of it is destruction of the zoning plans as well as the operative development plan for the state. You also have the environmental degradation, you have issues of flooding, you also have the issue of the building collapse as well. The whole of Lagos was actually reclaimed, so there is legal reclamation going on as well. The illegal one is going to cause havoc in the city. So you would have flooding, you will have environmental degradation, you would have the floodplains in the state being at risk. The poor building practices has a big effect or a grave effect on tourism, because as a tourist, I want to come into a city where I'm sure that it is safe, it's secure, and it's serene. We have certain areas of the state which have been marked as slum areas in the state. We try as much as possible to put in the basic infrastructure in order not to continue to create slums. So roads, water, schools, and well, with our Light Up Lagos project as well, electrification. There should be a 5% annual reduction in the growth of slums in Lagos State.
The role of Lagosians in ensuring that the master plans are adhered to is that we seek their cooperation. I expect every Lagosian to report non-adherence to laws and regulation, because we are in this together. It is a kind of civic duty. You are saving lives, you are saving property. If you whistle blow and tell us and say there is a contravention here, this person is not building right, he is not building by the rules, we would appreciate that, and we are there. The fulfillment that you have done your brother, you have been a brother's keeper, is enough for you.
The Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development is heavily committed to ensuring the standards of urban planning stands the test of time.
Let's lay a very good legacy, a very good foundation, do the right thing.
Let's build right in order to achieve a sustainable, organized, livable, business and tourism-friendly Lagos State.